Welcome on in, guys. It is three bold takes. Freddie, Chase, and yes. After 2 weeks of me and Freddie saying that there's not a third bold take, we finally have him back. Quinn, it is good to have you back, brother.
It is
In our
great to be back, man. I'm so excited. I've missed doing this.
well, we have to move our other third partner over to the side, which is SeatGeek. They are part of Three Bold Takes as always. If you use our discount code Three Bold Takes, you get $20 off your first purchase. Now that Quinn's back, we got to slide SeatGeek over. So technically, there's four of us now. But yes, our partners at SeatGeek, guys, use our discount code for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Three Bold Takes, guys. And with all three of us back, what's a better way of bringing Quinn back in unless we do some overreactions? All right. We just finished week 9 of college football, guys. Do you remember in the summer when we were just saying I can't wait for college football to be here, and now we're going into week 10 next week? That's insane. But for me, I'm just going to spout it off here. I want to start this one. I've loved college football so far. There's so many things that are happening that I did not see coming, and one of them, which is my overreaction, is that Texas A&M is going to be one of 4 teams to get a bye seed for winning the SEC championship. They just probably played their hardest game to this date in LSU. You made a statement against Missouri. You just beat LSU under the lights at home at night. And then you have South Carolina, New Mexico State, Auburn, and then you get Texas at home. Their hardest game to end the season is Texas. And Texas A&M has got it. They lost their first game of the season, but Mike Elko has reined this team in. They've beaten almost everybody except for they've beaten who they needed to by double digits. They beat Florida by 13. They beat Missouri by 31. They beat Mississippi State by 10, and then they just beat LSU by 15. I mean, nothing else to say. And even in this LSU game, they even traded out their starter, Weigman, and to bring in the freshman Marcel Reed to give them a little bit different of a look. And you heard LSU say that they didn't have a game plan for this kid. Texas A&M is going to be one of the 4 teams to have a bye in the playoffs at the end of this season.
Look, I got one problem with that. Is Alabama on Georgia's schedule after week 5? Does Alabama appear on Georgia's schedule for the rest of the year?
No.
Then what does that mean? They're going to go to Atlanta. They're going to meet A&M, maybe, and they will beat A&M in Atlanta when A&M has to play a road game in Georgia. Period. Like that. I'm sorry. Like look, I'm rooting for A&M just as much as the next guy. I love Mike Elko. I'm happy to see A&M turn stuff around. They're not going to get through Georgia. Georgia turned it on back in Austin. I don't see them turning it back off. They're going to run through Ole Miss and Oxford. They're going to run through Tennessee and Athens. They will be in Atlanta, and they will kill whoever walks into Atlanta unless somehow, some way, Alabama finds themselves in Atlanta, because that seems to be the only team that Kirby Smart can't beat.
I don't really, I'll be honest, I don't really know if I have a rebuttal to that, Chase, because from what I've seen so far, and this is a team that they lost in week 1. Nobody talked about them from then on out. They've been sliding under the radar. Now, I will say this. They've been sliding under the radar. Now you're a top 10 team. Now you've got implications of, okay, we could make the SEC title. We could make the playoffs. How does Texas A&M respond under year 1 of Mike Elko? That's my question. And if you look at the schedule, they travel to Auburn the second game, the second to last game of the year. And Auburn's notorious for upsetting teams at home when either they're A, ranked number 1, or B, they have a legitimate shot to make the SEC title, the playoffs. Like, they are really good at ruining dreams. And that's a game that I'm looking to. If they can beat Auburn convincingly, we could be talking about a national championship run here for Texas A&M.
Hey, hold on. I want to say this. It's not just Auburn. You also have a road trip to South Carolina this weekend.
Yeah.
and they're coming off of a bye week, and that is also a venue that is infamous for ruining teams' seasons.
Easily Tennessee.
Easily a trap game for there with South Carolina, because South Carolina had Alabama up in Williams-Brice, and Alabama almost got upset following their Vandy upset. And I think they struggle with South Carolina because South Carolina's defense is really underrated this season, and I think they probably struggle with Auburn. Both of those are road games. But when you look at that schedule, those last 4 games compared to Georgia's last 5, Georgia has Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee all in a row, no breaks, and then they get UMass and Georgia Tech to end the season.
Is Tennessee not a home game for Georgia? I thought Tennessee was in Athens. Okay.
Yep.
Ole Miss is the only one on the road out of those 5. Well, Florida's the neutral, of course.
Yeah.
But I think I came into saying this because Texas A&M, that is an easy schedule between the South Carolina and New Mexico State game. If you finish off South Carolina, you also have a bye week going into the New Mexico State to finish out the season as well. And, I'm not even going to lie to you. I did not think about them probably playing Georgia in Atlanta. That's a tough game. But I did not think I'd be sitting here near November saying, Mike Elko and Texas A&M, if you don't get to the SEC championship, it's a failure. Because looking at these final 4 games, you should probably be in Atlanta, more than likely, because you also get Texas at home with the time to be determined. And I'm gonna guess it's going to be a night game to end the season for those teams.
Absolutely.
So if that ends up being a night game like you just had with LSU, and you can upset Texas, it's crazy to say that Mike Elko and Texas A&M, you have to be in the SEC championship. But I think they have a legitimate shot to be one of the 4 teams at the end of the year to be in the playoffs, living off a first-round bye, which is – I didn't think I'd be sitting here saying that about Texas A&M at all this season.
I didn't think I'd be sitting here saying they'd have a chance to make it to Atlanta or even have a chance to make the playoffs, period. I thought that we were going to be looking at another, 7-5, 8-4 type year in Elko's first year. Now I love the hire, and I think that this is going to be a recipe that's going to stay for a significant period of time as long as Elko can stay there and keep his guys there. But I didn't think it would happen this quickly.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. I thought we were talking maybe year 2, maybe year 3 that we see Elko finally turn the ship around in Texas A&M, but. Dude, it happened quick, and credit to them. I mean, everyone was highlighting the Lone Star Showdown at the end of the year, happy that it was coming back, and they're going to turn it into what might be a game to get to Atlanta.
Yeah,
not to super forecast, but there's a good chance that the winner of that game goes to Atlanta and the loser stays home.
Dude, those tickets right now are more expensive than the Super Bowl on average.
Really?
Just want you guys to realize that. Yes.
The one in Kyle Field?
Yes.
For A&M in Texas? Wow.
A&M in Texas. I saw where the cheapest ticket was around $800 to get into the game.
Talk about that game's going to be loud. That's going to be it might be the most wild atmosphere in college football this entire season.
And my phone will be on Do Not Disturb during that game. I'm going to be locked into watching it.
Yeah, well, let us know what you think about Texas A&M. Currently, they sit at first in the SEC conference, the only undefeated SEC team this season thus far, of course. But, guys, let us know what you think about Texas A&M and if they have a shot to be one of the 4 teams to have a first-round bye going into the playoffs, guys. That was the Texas A&M overreaction for Chase. Guys, for Quinn, Chase, and Freddie, it's 3 bold takes as always. And for our 4th partner, SeatGeek, make sure you use our discount code to get $20 off your first ticket purchase using 3 bold takes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to 3 bold takes. We're out.